All right, welcome everyone to the benefits of upgrading to Oracle EPM 11124 webinar presented by Infratects. We certainly thank each and every one of you for taking time out of your day to join us today. I'd like to, without further ado, introduce our speaker for today. Mr. Sawaqed is a senior EPM infrastructure consultant here at Infratects, and he'll be going through, again, the benefits of Oracle EPM 11124. We will hold all questions until the end. So if you could please hold your questions until the Q&A portion of the webinar, we would greatly appreciate it. Thank you very much, and I'll turn it over to Samer.
Thank you, Damaris. Good morning, everybody who are in the same time zone as I am, the U.S. time zone. It's morning here, and I know a lot of folks are participating from other time zones across the globe. So good evening and good afternoon to those in your respective time zones. I would like to start first by sharing a little bit about myself and background. As Damaris mentioned, I'm an infrastructure consultant here with member of the U.S. Team, and I come from an engineering CIS background, educational background. Most of my career has been in infrastructure. I've been also on various projects related to Hyperion, whether it's a new installation, new implementation, or upgrade projects and migration projects. I've also had the opportunity to teach at Oracle University. So I was for a couple of years as an Oracle instructor, mainly classes related to installation and configuration of products, HFM product planning, and SmartView. For this presentation, I understand that some of you might already in the process of upgrading to 2.4 or have future plans to upgrade. But we're trying to shed some light on the benefit of the 2.4 version and what it brings, that it's worth the time and effort to upgrade. Feedback on this release has been tremendous, especially in performance and a lot of compelling new features. So I would like to shed some light on those. I can start the presentation now. Would like to start with this disclaimer. The following is intended for information purposes only on behalf of Infratects and may not be incorporated into any contract. It is not a commitment to deliver any services or functionality and should not be relied upon in making purchasing decisions. This provides no warranties with respect to the offerings described within. Any third-party names, trademarks, and copyrights contained in this document are the property of their respective owners. So let me talk a little bit introduction about Infratects and talk about our services a little bit and our staff and what we do here at Infratects. So mainly we are EPM focused. We employ more than 50 certified EPM consultants. We currently manage over 120 projects in 25 countries, clients in every major industry segment. So it's, whether it's health, energy sector, financials, banking, we support over 20,000 users worldwide, also support 24/7 and certified data centers in Europe, the States, and Australia. Infratects Hyperion blogs that our elite group of consultants have, and I'm sure if you're in the Hyperion space for a while, you've come across one of these blogs. If not, I do encourage everyone to visit with these blogs. Infratects EPM services. I will touch a bit on the services that we provide here at Infratects. Functional consulting and EPM strategy and roadmap, advisory services on EPM application infrastructure and tools, implementation of financial close, consolidation, planning, budgeting, forecast, and reporting solutions. We also have managed services and support, mainly basic support, managed services too. And basic support, I would like to touch on that because usually people don't understand what basic support is, and you would be surprised that there are clients out there that the basic support they lack. Just for example, having the right scripts to manage the Hyperion environment, whether it's shutting down the Hyperion environment gracefully and in the proper way. So we provide that basic support too, so it's tailored to the needs of the client. We also provide training depending on the products that the client uses, on-site, in-house, and online delivery options available too. Infrastructure consulting, and that's mostly environment assessment, That's when we go inside to the environment, to the client, and do an assessment for their environments. And based on that, we can give recommendation on how to proceed, whether it's an upgrade or patching or so on and so forth, depending on the situation itself. Data integration, design implementation, EPM data integration solutions, whether it's ERPI, FDMEE, and ODI, EPMA, and cloud integrator. Performance management, we also perform load testing, stress and break testing in order to understand more about the issues that could face the client's environment, and based on that also recommend the best practices or the next steps. Dedicated hosting also we provide, which is custom designed environment tailored to the needs of any organization. We provide the infrastructure, managed services and critical period support, backups in general for the environment, disaster recovery. EPM Cloud. This is a good solution for those who have 50 named users or less, and they want to have it managed through another third-party source, and it has our own managed server expertise that will support these environments. And it's always a good solution if you want to actually try the cloud and to understand what it takes in order to move to the cloud. Key differentiators, we have global data centers, like I mentioned, in Europe, the US, and Australia, 24/7 support, and automated system monitoring, tuning, and patching. Now we delve into the Oracle EPM 2.4 release. New certification in this Oracle EPM 2.4 release. From the server side, Windows Server 2012 and 2012 R2 are now supported. Database Microsoft SQL Server 2012, with exception to financial close management. It's not supported through the Microsoft SQL Server 2012 certification. Client operating system, Windows 8.1, third-party Microsoft Office 2013, and of course the browser IE 11 and Firefox. These are the new certifications that have been introduced in 2.4. Some of the drop certifications that are not supported in the Oracle 2.4 release are Windows Server 03 and 03 R2, Database Microsoft SQL Server 05, and the client operating system Windows XP. IE 7 and 8, Firefox 10, 7, and 24 are not supported in 2.4. So if you're on these versions of IE, you need to take that into consideration, that you will need to upgrade to a different browser or operating system, and also the server footprint. Upgrade approach. Usually clients would want to know how to approach the upgrade, whether it be in-place upgrade or new install new hardware. So organizations on the 11.1.1 platform or earlier releases are due for an upgrade, definitely. And for those on the 2.0 all the way to 2.3, the 2.4 release offers better performance and new features, which we will touch on and speak to. The two approaches, in-place upgrade, and this approach reuses the same hardware and this approach suggested when you can use the apply maintenance release. So through the Oracle supported path, if that release has a supported apply maintenance release option to upgrade, that could be suggested in this occasion. And also, if the current EPM environment is healthy. If it's not healthy, then the upgrade is going to be based upon other issues that were pre-existing issues that the environment had. So there's a lot of factors that take into consideration when you want to take this route. The other route is new install new hardware, and this is suggested and most common at clients where they would like to freshen up their environment and start from scratch and make sure that all the hiccups or issues that they had prior to moving to an upgraded version, that it's been resolved, so patched and a clean version of Hyperion. So this is suggested when there's a service patch ability to upgrade. There is no apply maintenance release, and the existing EPM environment is not a healthy environment. So whether you have server that it's hardware end of life that you want to move from and to introduce new software, new hardware in your environment. That would be the second approach, and from my experience, most common when dealing with clients as they want to move to a newer version and fresher environment. This slide describes a little bit, it's a busy slide. I won't talk about all of it, but I'll just touch on it a little bit. It's the delivery process of Infratects. So it goes through 5 phases and 3 levels. So requirements and design, develop and migrate, testing, training, deploy and go live, operation. And in each phase, there's a lot of work to be done in tasks. So on the infrastructure level, which we call Infratects, you would see application design in the first phase, application migration in the second phase, performance testing, third phase, support of business information technology activities in the deploy and go live phase, and managed services in the operation phase. And through this delivery process, also on the IT and business level, there's a lot of stages that go through that. Just to mention a few: licensing of EPM, system integration and testing, infrastructure support, whether on the database, network, server side, system patching, upgrade time frame or timeline. Some of the main questions also that clients ask is how long would it take to upgrade from a release to a newer release, and the time frame for an upgrade project varies. Could be a few weeks to several months, and the below factors play a role in determining that: number of Hyperion environments that you might have, test, dev, prod, or a DR environment, size of each environment. So each environment would have a number of servers per environment, upgrade path, the release that you're upgrading from to the release that you're going to, number of Oracle EPM products. So if it's more than one product, EPM planning or HFM, S-Base, depending on the products. The number of applications per product. So when you upgrade also, you have to take in consideration the number of applications that need to be migrated. Whether the approach is redesigning the application, that's a different story, but upgrading and migrating the same existing application from one environment to another environment. And that plays a role in the time frame. If it's 1 or 2 or more than 3 applications, it will take more time. Number of users training, if you consider the training through UAT, after UAT, also training and the number of users that are being used, that are going to be introduced to this environment, whether it's for the first time you're implementing the Hyperion product or just other users using new features and availabilities in the new release. So some of the new features that I'm going to touch on a little bit and talk to is the Hyperion planning. So enhanced performance in the forms, simple forms and planning. Since most of the work is done on the client side, that makes the server requests are greatly reduced time-wise, and the servers can now handle 33% more load than before. So we can see on the performance side that it's better in this release. Planning is by default configured to preload data when you open forms. So that saves also time, and performance is enhanced through that capability of configured preload data when the forms are open in planning. Enhanced planning capabilities also analyze data in robust ad hoc grids, so you can zoom in and out of members in the ad hoc grids. Another feature also viewing planning units status in a graphic, visualize tasks by status or by type, and the feature of automatic save, where data is automatically saved when users move out of cells, because usually sometimes it's not auto-saved and a lot of users lose their data that is entered in the cell. So this is a good feature to have in case not to lose data when you enter data in a grid in a cell. Values are aggregated immediately, and that's done through the grid property enable auto save. Smart view enhancement with Oracle Hyperion planning. So enhanced submit data functionality. You would be able to submit data without refresh, and submit data range also in Smart View. Also new diagnostic tools. When an issue arises in Smart View, also you can have the new Smart View diagnostic tool, which is a great feature to create and collect log files in order to assist in troubleshooting. So there's a lot of screenshots for troubleshootings, and this is a very handy tool because I know a lot of clients encounter a lot of problems in Smart View, especially when retrieving data and connecting to SBase or HFM or planning. So this is a great diagnostic tool that could be used in troubleshooting Smart View issues. Hyperion Financial Management, the new features that are also and the performance that is enhanced in the HFM engine and this release. So the application server components, partly written in Java and partly in native C++ code, and HFM does not rely on Microsoft Windows technologies, IIS and DCOM. So less dependencies for HFM. Performance is much better. Also for consolidation and data retrieval tasks, optimization in the data source engine. The user interface has been optimized for better responsiveness, and I'll talk to that in the next slide. So this slide shows us a comparison between consolidation that has been performed in Infratects labs. It's comparing the 2.3 consolidation to the 2.4 consolidation. So single period 8-threaded consolidation is 8 minutes in the 2.3 release. In the 2.4 release, it is 2 minutes 38 seconds. So you can see the numbers talk for themselves that it's much faster for consolidation time. And also for the below graphic, it shows full year consolidation for 2.4 when using different consolidation threads. So 24 consolidation threads take about 5 minutes, whereas 2 consolidation threads take about 33 minutes. So infrastructure and processing power and using more threads for each consolidation makes a whole lot of difference when it comes to time. And this is done for a period of 12 consolidated impact. Great enhancement performance in consolidation in HFM. Also the configuration settings in HFM in 2.4, memory parameters and other HFM application server settings have been moved to the web interface, so it's very easy to control and very easy to adjust in the web interface for HFM. Multiple selection of load files also. You load up to 10 files at a time. The new multi-selection option is available in load data, load documents, load journals, and load intercompany transaction. So that also saves a lot of time and effort when you can actually select multiple files to load. Extended analytics in HFM, the ability to configure a data source for extracting data, which is extended analytics in the consolidation administration screen. So you have that flexibility now to have that interaction and also connection for the data source to extract data out of HFM application. So that's a new feature also within HFM. and extended analytics. The next product line is FDM-EE, and I know this is the move for the 2.4 release, as the FDM Classic is not anymore introduced in the 2.4 release. So you would have to have understanding to migrate from the FDM Classic to FDM schema. And there's another slide that I would talk to about the migration utility. Conversion will require rebuild of FDM Classic to FDM-EE. Reuse metadata defined in FDM-EE Classic. Crystal reports replaced by RTF templates. And also VB, Visual Basic, no longer supported in imported format scripts. For the FDM to FDM-EE, it's good news for those clients that are moving from FDM Classic to FDM-EE. Migration utility is out there that you can use. The supported releases for the migration utility is 11.11.x. So if you're on 11.11 and 11.12.x, they're supported as a source version. ERPI FDM releases 2.x are supported too. ERPI FDM setups in release 1.3.1.4 are not migrated. So if you have a ERPI and FDM environment in the release 1.4 and 1.3, they can't be migrated. And the target version is the FDM-EE releases. So it's the 2.4 or higher. Must be installed and configured before we can migrate from FDM to FDM-EE. And usually this migration is implemented as an ETL process from one or more source FDM schema to a single target FDM-EE schema. And this process is implemented using the ODI integrator in the FDM-EE 2.4 release. It's executed using the ODI, and the process is also monitored using the ODI Studio. So the ODI Studio needs to be also installed within the 2.4 release. So this is a good utility to have in case you are reluctant or worried about moving from FDM to FDM-EE 2.4 release. Also another enhancement to FDM-EE 4, financial close management integration. This integration is achieved by using the interactive mode, which enables financial close management users to reach the data load workbench component by clicking a task link in Hyperion Financial Close Management. So the integration has been done through a URL to make it much easier for users to connect through and load data through FDM-EE to financial close management. Also, new fixed mapping features in data load workbench. There's an option to view mapping errors and fix them instantly when mapping errors occur. So that's a nice feature also when troubleshooting mapping. Target load options. In data load rules, we specify the target application option specific to a location. So you can select different data protection values for each location. And that comes really handy when you are attempting to load rules within FDM-EE. Target application enhancement also. In this release, Oracle Hyperion profitability and cost management for those of you who implement or work with this product. Also, tax provision application of Hyperion Financial Management. It supports both of these products in the FDM-EE 2.4 release. Sbase product line, Sbase new configuration settings in the sbase.cfg file, where you can customize a lot of the properties and parameters in there. Worker threads, you can customize the size of the thread pool. Crash dump location, also location where Sbase saves a core dump file with abnormal termination occurs. Also connection timeout, where you can maximize that timeout. I know there's a lot of clients out there that have experienced a lot of disconnect and a lot of trouble having connections with the SQL server and SQL connection. So you can maximize that time as well. Query timeout, maximum time that Essbase waits for a SQL query to execute before timing out, especially for longer queries, and having that to perform at its best. Also, you can maximize that time in Essbase to handle that timeout and to perform better. Support POV and pivot enhancement for SmartView, also retrieving data through SmartView. There's a lot of enhancement for that too. Multiple members can be pivoted from the grid to the POV toolbar. Multiple members also can be from the POV toolbar to the grid, and also one single dimension can remain on the POV toolbar. So more user interface friendly features when dealing with SmartView and connecting to Essbase. Enhancements to the hybrid aggregation. Time balance tagged members and dynamic time series members can be calculated now through the hybrid aggregation in the 2.4 release. More calculation functions are included in the list for member formulas that can be calculated in the hybrid aggregation mode. And I know that Oracle has a list of those members that you can go back to or consult with in order to know exactly what the list of members are for the calculation functions. Hardware, I know there's always a question that comes to mind when upgrading, and that is whether virtualization is a good route or not, or physical versus virtual. And from my experience, organizations were reluctant in the beginning when VMs became popular, started to become introduced to the market and started becoming popular. But from my experience, virtualization software and virtualization environment, if maintained properly, if having the right managed staff that can administrate and maintain these environments, it's a good route to go with, and it has a lot of benefits for going this route and being on a virtualized environment. Just to name a few of the benefits, is the cost, and you can run multiple copies of operating systems on one physical server. So that's pretty easy to know. The cost that you incur is just having less hardware rather than having more than one physical server in order to run multiple copies of operating system. Adaptability makes moving to the cloud less of a challenge. Everybody's talking about the cloud, and there's a lot of options in the cloud, and having that ability makes it easy for you to move to the cloud with a virtual environment. Increase uptime, because you have the availability and distributed resource scheduling in the environment, virtualized environment. So that's a feature within the virtualized environment. Also, on the server level, you have faster server provisioning. It also reduces the data center footprint for virtualized environment. And like I said, I've seen a lot of clients move to the virtualization side of infrastructure, or they would have a combination of virtualization and physical hardware. So mainly it would be an Essbase on a physical machine, and the other products on a VM capable platform. Exalytics. I just wanted to touch a little bit about Exalytics and the Oracle Exalytics in-memory machine. And when working with large amount of data to achieve better performance, to analyze and aggregate, and high computing capacity. It has more CPUs, more memory. Performance-wise, it comes with OBIE accelerator, Oracle S-based accelerator, Oracle in-memory data caching, and also it comes with Oracle BI Publisher accelerator. So all these come down to performance. Exalytics is the Porsche of the server world. A lot of clients might go this route when dealing with large data, and performance and retrieval time is very much required in some certain scenarios. So that's on the Exalytics in-memory machine. I can open it to questions now. If anybody would like to send on the chat, everybody has the chat available there, and they can send any questions while we wait for any questions, or anybody wants to add anything. With that, in our Infratects Top Gun conference that's taking place in Dallas, Texas, it was brought to my attention that Infratects will honor the early bird rate till the end of this week, in case for all participants in this webinar, if anyone would like to consider participating in this event.
Sammer, we do have a couple of questions that have come in, so I can pose those questions to you if you want to answer those, please. First question is, can HFM and or FDM run on Exalytics in 11.124?
I would need to check on that. I'm not pretty sure.
Okay. I'm not the person who's posed the question, so I can certainly send that information your way. And
yes, absolutely.
Out with an answer on email.
Absolutely.
The other question is, will Chrome be supported for future patches on 11.124?
The certification matrix for Oracle, the last time I checked, it did have that in the future support, but I would need to confirm exactly. But I think I did read in that matrix that it will be supported.
Great. At this time, I don't see any other questions. Last chance for questions if anybody has one. Otherwise, we can turn it back over to Sammer to wrap it up. All right, no questions.
All right, thank you, Demarius. I just put the slide up here for my contact information, and also you guys can follow us on Twitter at Infratects US and at Infratects. Feel free to reach out to me or Demarius or any other consultants with any questions or concerns. We'll be more than glad to answer those. I'll make sure to get with the 2 participants that have asked those 2 questions and make sure to provide the answers to those. Other than that, I really thank everybody for participating and being on the call. Thank you very much.